one of those titles are legends. The title, when you signed the consent, you were supposed to give the original title for plot 131.
You want to speak a little louder, I can bear it.
Okay.
Can stand up.
When we signed that consent, when we signed that consent, Mr. Bujingo had to give me title for plot 131 for subdivision. Unfortunately, he had sold part of the land to one Kayemba Nagobwa, who was in a possession of that title. Kayemba Nagobwa or Nagombwa. So he could not give me that title unless I had to cut off his land, which was 6 titles, as a condition for him to release the title. Because for Bujingo, he did not have that title. He had already sold part to Mr. Kayemba, and Kayemba was not willing to give that title to me unless we subdivide that title to give him his titles. And indeed, we carved off those 6 titles.
Indeed, after they give you the title.
Pardon me?
Indeed, after they give you the title.
Kayemba one who gave me the title, not Bujingo. Because the title was not in his possession, he had sold it to another person.
You cut off Kayemba's titles.
Yes, those are 6 titles.
Which were how big the area?
He needs to first question the leadership to see the process. So we couldn't have subdivided the title unless we had to first consider Mr. Kayemba's interests. And indeed, Kayemba received those titles from me. As per other titles, I gave it to Kuala Ponsao and he received them. And he signed acknowledgement of the same from his lawyer, Mr. Chiwuwa.
Give me a copy of that one.
Your Honor, we made this, I don't know whether
Yeah.
it's done.
I am so sorry for letting. I'm asking for that one.
Needless for us to reiterate what we submitted. We made submissions in respect of this application on 30th of March 2023. And in those submissions you made, we stated to court that the residue title, which was deposited by Kamoga, was less than what he was supposed to have carved off as per the decree and consent judgment. To be very clear, for more elaborate to my colleagues who were not party to this, that certificate of title of plot 131 was 24.016 acres, or rather 9.719 hectares. What he returned was less by 6.1761 acres. The decree commands him to reduce only 9 acres. So in quick mathematics, Your Worship, that is less than what he's supposed to have taken. So that is what the applicant is demanding from him. that is on plot 131. So unless there is a response to that, we insist that what he took was more than what the consent provides. And he cannot even allege that his principal, Kwata Kumsau, is liable for his illegal acts. He is solely responsible.
Your worship, for me, I hope it has been put on record and confirmed before going into the details of how big that title is. That title for plot 131 is in possession of Council Zak. It was signed and taken by him. I hope you can confirm
The
that.
residue title.
Yes, the residue title.
It is confirmed. The
So at
residue
least that
title.
position, before
Yes.
going to the details.
The residue, which is less than what he should have brought back to court. And that is what we are demanding.
So your worship,
Your worship, before Council Zak, let him tell us, let him tell court, is he having that title?
The applicant is having it. It is done. We have the title. The applicant has it and he has never denied it. He is in court here. We have it. In fact, the applicant has it.
your worship, to add my voice to Council Zak submission. The title my colleague Council Zak was referring to was obligated to be produced under clause A of the consent. But that is not the only title, your worship. Your worship, in clause C of the consent, in clause C of the consent, Mr. Kamoga Muhammad is legally obligated to furnish land titles to squatters, upon subdividing their respective vibanda. Your worship, a total of 30 squatters, some of whom are present in this honorable court, a total of 30 squatters, some of whom are before this honorable court, are meant to receive land titles from Mr. Kamoga, after he had carved off half of their respective land during the survey process. After they had carved off half of their respective land during the survey process, Your Worship, in paragraph D of the consent, Mr. Kamoga is legally obligated to surrender 1 acre of land, titled land, is legally obligated to surrender 1 acre of titled land to Mr. Bujingo, the applicant, This land was to be obtained. This land was to be obtained from land Mr. Kamoga obtained as his share in this land transaction. Your Worship, in both clause C and D, Mr. Kamoga is obligated to furnish before this honorable court a total of 31 titles. In both clause C and D, Mr. Kamoga is obligated to produce today 31 titles. Your Worship, furthermore, without prejudice to my colleague's submission, in paragraph A of the consent, where Mr. Kamoga managed to partially fulfill it, in paragraph A of the consent, Mr. Kamoga managed to partially fulfill the said term when he furnished a title worth or measuring 8.15 acres. A title measuring 8.15 acres instead of a title of 15 acres as directed by the consent. Instead of a title of 15 acres as directed by the consent. Your Worship, this leaves a balance of 6.85 acres, which Mr. Kamoga must account for in terms of titles today. Your Worship, the said 6.85 acres as per the area schedule, the said 6.85 acres as per the area schedule amount to 24 land titles he must produce in paragraph A. Amount to 24 land titles which he must produce under paragraph A. Your Worship, a summation of the titles Mr. Kamoga must avail Mr. Ujingo in court today amounts to 55 land titles. A summation of the titles Mr. Kamoga must avail Mr. Ujingo today in court amount to 55 land titles. The said amount of titles exempts the one title he has so far given our client. Your Worship, the said title that was handed over to our client is comprised in Busiro, block 432, plot 864. Busiro block 432, plot 864. This is the title that is indeficient in terms of size. It was supposed to be 15 acres, but It's instead a title of 8.15 acres. Your Worship, we hereby task Mr. Kamoga to avail us those land titles or proof of any acknowledgement of those 55 land titles by either Mr. Bujingo or Council Zako, because the same titles have never been received from the time this application was filed in 2020 up to date.
Your Worship,
Before you speak, Mr. Kamoga, brought in your title.
I don't know those titles, the legends. I don't know those titles, the legends. The title, when you signed the consent, you were supposed to give me the original title for plot
If you
131.
want to speak a little louder, I can bear it here.
Okay.
Can stand up.
When we signed that consent, when we signed that consent, Mr. Bujingo had to give me title for plot 131 for subdivision. Unfortunately, he had sold part of the land to one Kayemba Nagobwa, who was in a possession of the land title. Kayemba Nagobwa or Nagombwa. So he could not give me that title unless I had to cut off his land, which was 6 titles, as a condition for him to release the title. Because for Bujingo, he did not have that title. He had already sold part to Mr. Kayemba, and Kayemba was not willing to give that title to me unless we subdivide that title to give him his titles. And indeed, we carved off those 6 titles.
Indeed, after we give you the title.
Pardon me?
Indeed, after they gave you the title.
Kayemba don't give me the title, not Bujingo. Because the title was not in his possession, he had sold it to another person.
You cut off Kayemba's title.
Yes, those are 6 titles.
Which were how big the area?
He needs to first question the leadership to see the process. So we couldn't have subdivided the title unless we had to first consider Mr. Kayemba's interests. And indeed, Kayemba received those titles from me. As per other titles, I gave it to Kwala Konsao and he received them. And he signed acknowledgement of the same from his lawyer, Mr. Chimuwa.
Give me a copy of acknowledgement.
Your Honor, we made this, I don't know whether
Yeah.
it's done.
I am also talking for letting, I'm asking for an acknowledgement.
Okay.
Yes.
But you see it here. Because in this acknowledgement, the titles, for the benefit of the council for the applicant, their titles acknowledged for on the 3rd of May 2018. For Musiro Block 432, the plots are 157, 117, 160, 163, 154, 156, 160, 158, 159, and 107.
Your Worship, you need to look at that acknowledgement keenly. What is contested are actually,
That's why I say I'm reading.
yes.
It is not what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's not what we are looking for. It's not.
It's not what we're looking for.
Yes.
Your Worship, furthermore,
Your Worship, I think
Just a minute.
before you start,
Everyone should have an opportunity to express themselves.
if
The
I
floor
may.
now is for.
if I may, Your Worship, we need to go to what are the contents of the consent.
Open your consent.
Let's open the consent.
Because from what you seem to say in the consent is, it was generic, you specified quota, so you don't have plot numbers that are going to the quota. It is that generic.